accountants, external auditors, and ICT professionals. You guys can still get permanent residency, but perhaps you need a good plan B. And let's talk about how to ride the wave on the construction trades qualification side of things. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you. Without further ado, let's get started. In case this is the first time on this channel, my name is Johnny. I'm a migration lawyer in Sydney, and I post daily content on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts in order to help migrants like you to get PR faster. We all know all the accounting professionals and also ICT professionals require ridiculously high points. We're talking about 95, 100, 105. It is not uncommon. Everyone knows that. But we are talking about 189 for that. But when it comes to 190 and 491, things are a little bit more different because some states, you're not even on the list. For example, in New South Wales, accounting professionals, they are not even on the New South Wales skills list. Recently, they have downgraded all these professionals. In WA, they have downgraded accounting professionals, accounting occupations from 190 list to now only 491 list. It's getting a lot harder. And not to mention, for 189, they didn't even invite any accountants. So we know it is difficult and it's going to get a lot more difficult. In my previous video, I also talk about some of the plan B, which is to get employer sponsorship so that you can get sponsored and then you go through with the 482 sponsorship. However, not everyone is working in the nominated occupation. It's not uncommon that people can't find work because it's hard to start, but it's extraordinarily demanding for these type of professionals when you get maybe 1 to 2 years of experience in Australia. The starting part is always the hardest part. Now, this comes with a plan B. This is what you can do to ride a wave of construction trades occupations. Carpenters, tilers, welders, painting trades workers. All of these occupations are up for grab for 65 points only in the past 4 rounds of the 189 invitation round. I didn't count the November round because as at the date of this video, I don't have the official data, but I've been getting 65 points news throughout. However, this is how you're gonna get it, and it's not a straightforward process to get the skill assessment required in order to go through the general skill migration program as a trade workers. Let me break it down for you. There are a couple of scenarios that you gotta do. Number one, if you're currently on a student visa, congratulations. What you can do is you can have a trade course on the side. For example, you are studying a Master of Professional Accounting, you know for sure I'm not going to get a job, I'm not going to get permanent residency through accounting, no hope for me to get 100, I don't want to do it, what's the next plan? This would be the good plan, which is maybe like for blokes, I would usually recommend carpenters, certificate 3 of carpentries, or for girls, I would usually recommend certificate 3 in painting and decoration because of the strength difference. But if you're girls and you want to go for carpentry, fine by me, right? Whatever you want to do. However, if you have a current COE, if you're studying a student visa, which is fantastic, you can apply to get a second COE, which allows you to study a trade course concurrently with your master degree. You can do it before you get into your 485 visa so that you can spend your student visa period to study the master degree, which you really wanted, the accounting or ICT or whatever that you're studying. Number 2, the trades course that actually land you permanent residency. And the good thing is the process, you don't need to apply for a separate student visa. So you bypass the genuine student test requirement because this is the part that people get gatekeeped. When it comes to applying for a student visa, if you use a certificate 3 to apply, very likely you're going to get rejected if you're over maybe 25 years old. Who's going to come to Australia to study carpentry if you're over 35 and you're not here to migrate, right? It doesn't make sense. So this is called concurrent COE. I've already put a QR code somewhere here. If you want to know more information, if you want to reach out to us, hit one of the QR codes and then our consultant will talk to you about what are the detailed process. When it comes to a concurrent COE process, this type of certificate 3, if you use it to apply for a student visa, it takes 2 years, but there are the fast track options. They take 12 months and you also got to attend the college to complete the practical component and also the work placement. If you're currently working in that occupation, very likely that you can use your work experience to substitute the work placement requirement. So typically there are 3 components involved in these type of trade courses. Number 1, that's a theory component that takes 50% of the course and it's self-paced. You do it on your own, right? You just got to talk to the college and then to see whether or not you can overload it, you take it so they can fast track. So that's self-paced. You can do it at home, you do it online. Number 2 is a practical component. If you have 3 to 5 years of experience, full-time experience in Australia, working in that trade occupation, for some reason you just have it, that's fine. Only in Australia, Australian work experience, then we can apply to the college to waive the practical component in the entirety. But if you have less than 3 years, that's fine. They can still waive part of the component so that you can complete the course faster. The third thing is the work experience component, 360 hours. So you got to time it and then you got to work on it. If you're on a student visa, you have 24 hours work right per week and you can use that to work in carpentry or wall painting. You get into the industry and use this period of time to 24 hours to work as a tradies and to substitute the work experience requirement. Once you have completed the qualification, the fastest they have seen is 6 months, and then typically people completed it within 12 months. And then after the 12 months, you get a provisional skill assessment, and then you can go through the job ready program. That takes 12 months. Of course, based on how many hours that you've worked, you have completed the required number of hours, then you can get a skill assessment as a carpenter or painting trades worker, etc. So you know the drill. So then you have access to a solid 65 points invitations. Then very likely you get picked up by the states and by the territories because they all want tradies now, and also they 189 rounds. So that's number one if you're currently on a student visa. Just now I talked about the concurrent COE for people who currently have a student visa. If you're primary applicants of 485 or secondary applicants of 485, it doesn't matter. During your 485 visa, you can study non-stop and you can work non-stop. So it doesn't matter. You just apply for a non-COE course, which is cheaper than having a COE. If you have a student visa, you must obtain a second COE because it's a requirement. But if you're on a 485, it doesn't matter. You just go for a non-COE course and you can complete the same thing, but you just pay less. And then 12 months of job ready program. Get through that, you get a skill assessment. Remember, your 485 visas, you only have 2 years of work right if you graduated from a master's degree. This is very important and got to bear in mind of that. If you're considering studying trades qualifications, make sure you do your absolute best to start during your student visa, because every day that you have a 485 is a privilege and you need to use this period of time during your 485 visas to get PR faster. Number 3 scenarios is that you're a student visa subsequent entrance. So the first scenario was you're a holder of student visa, meaning you're primary applicants. The second scenario, you're primary applicant or secondary applicants of a 485 visas. Number 3, you're student visa holder, but you're a secondary applicant. This is a problem because if you're a secondary applicant, if you want to migrate as a trades qualification or as a trades worker, you need the trades course and complete the job ready program, right? But if you're a secondary holder, you don't have the study right. Secondary applicants of a student visa only have 3 months of study right. You can't practically complete the certificate 3 requirement. You can't complete the whole thing because there are practical components. The course lasts longer than 3 months. So you'll be in breach. In order to bypass it, you can't. So you just got to start working in the construction site, start working in the occupation of your choice, and then you just got to hack it. You just got to go in and start working as a construction worker, as a carpenter. You start working as a painting or start working as a tiler, get someone to teach you on how to do it. And then you use the work experience later on because you're a secondary applicant, you're dependent of a student visa. When the main applicants receive a 485, hopefully, then you can use the 485 visas to complete the certificate 3 and go on the job ready program. But in the meantime, you already have 1 year work experience. Remember, you can use the work experience to reduce the length of the certificate 3. There are 3 components. So the theory components, you can't waive any. You just got to get through it. Unless you have a VET course or something, I'm going to create a new video to talk about the certificate 3 comprehensively. But for the purpose of this video, as long as you have 1 year, 3 years, whatever number of years of experience, talk to the college. The college that we all work with, they have this policy that will try to reduce the amount of components that you need to do in order to satisfy the requirement. And normally they probably have like 50% of the practical components if you have no work experience. But since you have work experience, they could have waived that. And if you can demonstrate it, or you have payslip showing you have 360 hours of work in the nominated occupation, for example, carpentry, you can waive the work experience component. So that would make the whole course significantly shorter. And then afterwards, you go through a job ready program. Not to say you have 1 year work experience, you have a certificate 3 as well. What it means, if any employer want to sponsor you, they can sponsor you on the spot unless you fall under the mandatory 482 requirement, which is one of occupation. Many of these blue collar trades occupations that are subject to 482 mandatory occupations, and then they will also look into the passport that you hold. If the passport that you hold requires you to have a mandatory 482, then they can't sponsor you. They have to wait for you to complete the job ready program, then they can sponsor. But don't worry about it. When you completed your job ready program, you have a skill assessment, just jump on the 65 points 189. All sorted. If your passport country, maybe you're European, you're American, don't worry about it, maybe even South American or Chilean. I don't think Chile is on that. You know, my absolute favorite, you know, Chilean and South Americans, I love them all. And they could potentially get through with this arrangement, and it also got sponsored along the way. During the sponsorship, complete the job ready program, and then move on with your life. So there are tons of different ways that you can play around in order to get through with the plan B. This is the end of the whole episode. I hope it is clear enough to provide you with a good solid plan B if you really go for it. If you want to know more, or if you want to go through it, you know, there's a QR code somewhere, and then just scan the QR code, talk to us, and then we'll see whether or not you're eligible for it. Then we can talk about it a bit more. In my next video, I'm going to talk a lot more about certificate 3, what are the components, what you're going to do with it. If you've got questions, put it in the comment section, hit the subscribe, like, and share this with your friends. I'm Johnny. I'll see you in the next video.